Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good, thanks. Do you want to just try your video and we'll do some tests?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me correctly?
I can hear you well.
And I think the webcam is working also. So is there anything else I need to check?
Do you want to just share your screen?
Sure. Okay, what do you see right now? My dashboard or my
Yes,
computer?
I see your dashboard. That's great.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Great.
Option.
Perfect. Hello, Gabrielle. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Morning, Gabrielle.
Morning. By the way, I think it's recording already. Don't know if you wanted to record this part.
It is just because so Frederick, who normally handle it's his Zoom, he's on vacation, so he set it all up so nothing could go wrong.
Okay, so it's automatically starts when it starts the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
I can share my screen if you want.
Yeah. Okay, that looks great.
Should be able to go through that.
Perfect. Actually, I should probably do the same just to make sure. All right. And what do you see? See the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So, awesome. Oh, wait, the others? Where are you both calling in from today?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Newcastle, UK.
All right.
And you?
I love just the volunteers are from all around the world. Just meet such interesting people. Valerie, I'm in Mississauga, so that's
Oh, you're in Canada too.
yes, I am. I'm on the team. There's one other Canadian, a lot of folks from Europe, and then Frederick, he's from Australia. So it's always interesting with the time zones, kind of meet.
Yeah, some collaborators in Australia, and it's always interesting trying to coordinate.
True.
What time is it in UK?
2 p.m.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so we're nice. We're in the middle, so at least it won't be any awkward times.
Are you originally from the UK?
No, I'm from the US. Yeah, I probably caught my accents as not.
I was like, okay, I'm waiting
English.
for the
Yeah. No, I'm American.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been here about this latest time 6 years, and then another year before that for education.
Oh, okay. Nice. What part of the UK?
Northern England, so Newcastle upon Tyne.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Have you visited or?
I've been to London, basically just vacationing.
Yeah, it is nice because with the train system, if you visit, it's easy to go all over compared to
totally.
especially with it's so small too.
Yeah.
You get a chance to come again.
I every time we go to Europe, we're all just fascinated and so impressed by the transit system, right? Like compared to we are in Toronto, if you don't have a car, it's difficult. Or if you're not in the core near like transit, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know that from, I think I was able to on some campuses not have a car, but in the US, but it really is dependent. I used to think even then there were like car share services, so use those to be able to get around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot easier here.
Good morning, Kate.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, good morning.
good morning.
Can we try just sharing your screen and turning your video on just to make sure it works?
Yeah, okay, let me share screen. Okay, entire screen. Share. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And
Thank you.
are you gonna have your video on or no?
Maybe not.
Okay, that's your choice. All right, and I thought I saw someone else calling in, the other volunteer.
Yeah, he was, but I don't know where he's
Mhm.
from. So. Were you aware of the DWF then before this project, since you're from Canada?
Yes, I was aware of them. And also just, Gord Downie, he's a big Canadian name. He was like the lead singer of the Tragically Hip. And so I think he went, yeah, so all of that. But I did not know them personally. I just had literally just reached out and introduced this for social good, and they're pretty excited to start a project. So we're always looking for charities to work with, and we've worked with the large ones too, like the World Health Organization, but it's always nice to work with local charities. So we're always on the lookout. So if you know anyone or have any contacts, feel free to pass them our way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's the smaller local ones, grassroots, that really get the value from our projects. Okay, so Dennis on.
I am.
Morning.
But I'll
Morning, Dennis.
turn on my video in a sec. My internet's pretty bad right now.
Oh, okay, sure. Morning, Jill.
Good morning.
Do you want to just try sharing your screen so we can make sure it's good?
I can do that. All right. Do you see the dashboard?
Yes. Okay, and I see Dennis and Satoshi. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm Satoshi.
Good. I guess it's good night, good evening. What time is it there?
Just 10 o'clock
10
p.m.
o'clock. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
You want to try sharing your screen just to make sure it's all good?
Okay, I will. And it is working.
Looks good.
Okay.
And same, Dennis, you want to just try sharing your screen?
Sure. Give me a second. Is that working?
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And maybe when you introduce yourself, just say where you're calling from as well. It's always nice to
Mhm.
hear about where the volunteers are from. Okay. Oh. Thank you for joining early. Just a little nervous because Frederick's on vacation. You know, he always handles all the logistics of the events and everything. So yeah. Last time he was not here, and while he gave me admin rights to Zoom, for some reason it doesn't allow you to like mute people. And there's one lady who seemed to be on another conference call for a while, and someone else ended up being the moderator and muted her. So that worked out.
How many submissions did you have this time around?
We had about 15 to 18. Not as high as some other projects, but that's, you know, it's always hit or miss. Like, you know, sometimes it's the topic. Plus also we, this is right in the summer, so we weren't sure, but we thought, okay, let's, you know, give it a try, because not everybody's, we typically find, you know, over the summer, people aren't as, yeah, they want to enjoy the nice weather. And
Yeah.
although it's pretty hot out where, Jill, it's not, where are you, Jill? Are you in the UK as well?
No, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, and it's very
Okay.
hot.
Hot there too. Gabrielle, it must be hot in the UK. I've been hearing the temperatures in Europe are
Yeah,
crazy.
so I think we've escaped that, thankfully. I have to look at the forecast and see if it's going to rise, but it's actually, I think it was only been about like 18 Celsius
Mhm.
in the mornings, so not bad at all. I think it's mostly Southern Europe. It's getting hit really, really badly right now.
Yep. Okay, where are our folks from DWS? Just DWF, just talked to them yesterday. We were doing a prep call, so I see Kevin on. Okay. Morning, Kevin.
Good morning, everybody.
We have all the volunteers on. Hi, Sabal. Hi, good morning. Oh, Angela. Oh, did we lose Sabal? Oh no, there. Okay, so is everyone from your team on? I thought I saw Riley come on. But
Just jumped on. Sorry.
oh,
for
there you are. Okay.
that. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. Okay, it's 9:02. We'll just give it a minute. So looks like everyone from your team is on, right? From DWF?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. I don't know if people want to throw into the chat where you're from, just to get some conversation going. And thanks for joining, Kevin. I was just telling the team earlier, with Frederick not here, it's like I'm on pins and needles because he has everything down packed when it comes to these events. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I'm sure people will start coming in. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone to our final wrap-up event with Viz for Social Good and the DWF team. It's been a super exciting project. I know just from the buzz on the Slack and the conversations and my conversations with Sabal and Riley that this has just been very, very interesting for us. And for me personally, being from Canada, definitely have a soft spot for Canadian charities. So welcome everyone to our final event. And I will, okay, just the agenda. The session is being recorded. I think it was already recorded, being recorded as everyone came on. At the end, we will try and remember to take a photo of everyone just for memory, so you can turn your video on then, but you're welcome to have your video on all throughout. Okay, so today's agenda, we will just have some comments from the DWF team. And for the presentations, we'll have 6 volunteers, and thank you all for joining us, with Q&A after each presentation and some feedback as well. And then, yeah, we'll just do the usual, we're just mentioning the trackers and doing a wrap. So very straightforward agenda. So first of all, congratulations to all the volunteers. Valerie, Ammu, and Jill will be presenting on her behalf. Satoshi, Dennis, Gabrielle, Kate, thank you so much for all your hard work. I know it's difficult. I was just saying earlier, that's the summer period, so a lot of people don't necessarily want to be spending in time in front of a desk doing data visualizations when the weather's super nice out. Although it's pretty hot in some places, so maybe you did enjoy staying inside and being cool. Yeah, we can get started, but I also wanted to introduce Kevin. He's from the team, the Viz for Social Good team. Want to say hello, Kevin?
Hello from hot, steamy Louisiana.
Ooh, okay, that's great. Is there anyone else on from the team? I think we're good, right? All right. Okay, so we have the order of presentation. So Valerie, if you would like to go first, please share your screen and take it away. I think everyone will have about 5 minutes or so, and we'll just give you a time warning in case you are a little bit over, but since there's just 6 of us, we should be able to get through it. So I will stop sharing my screen and hand it over to you, Valerie.
Okay, thank you. Let me share again my screen. Can you see my dashboard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So hello everyone. My name is Valerie Compaore, and I'm a business data analyst living in Toronto, Canada. So I share the same land acknowledgement as the main office of the Gord, Downie, and Chanie Wenjack fund. So you can over on the logo to see the land acknowledgement. My dashboard is bilingual, so if you want the French version, just click here and you will see French one. Don't worry, my presentation will only be in English with my French accent. My dashboard focuses on the reconciliation data, and in this data, we have some example of reconcile actions that are meaningful actions that promote reconciliation and aim to bring Indigenous and non-Indigenous people together. The DWF uses these actions to evaluate its impact. So the reconciliation journey actually has 5 steps, and each one progressively more impactful. I wanted to see people moving through different steps, but also understand the impact on future states. So I decided to add the 3 stages representing the future states. Please note that I'm using 2 key metrics here, the number of participants and the total participants by weight, which measures the social impact of each reconcile action, and higher weights indicate the greater impact. So the data is from 2021 to the first quarter of 2023, and the number of participants increased from 2021 to 2022, but in 2023, we started to lose some participants. We need to do something for the reconciliation and increase the social impact, but first we need to get additional information. So here you have the 3 stages, and you can hover on definition to see the meaning of each stage. And you can click and get additional details for the stage. And overall, I can say that stage 2 has the most significant impact, with around 60% of the total impact, despite having a smaller number of participants, around 21% being only in the last 4 steps of the journey, compared to stage 1, who actually has around 79% of participants. Unfortunately, stage 3 didn't have much impact. Within the dashboard, you'll find different KPIs. So we have the total number of participants, over 781,000, which leads to a total participant by weight exceeding 3 million. And we have 3 departments: development, education, marketing, and communication. And while Marcoms attracts the most participants, the development department actually made the most impact. I also identified 46 types of reconcile action, and this line chart is showing the donation growth. And as you can see, the third quarter of 2021 had the highest number of donating participants. Now let's take a look at the 5 steps the participant needs to follow to reach the reconciliation journey. So it starts with the following steps and ends with the leading steps, but endorsing newsletter engagement, contributing participants in DWF events have the highest numbers. But overall, we can say that the 3 steps, endorsing, contributing, and owning, contribute the most to the social impact with around 99%. And I also observed that the leading with volunteers only had 0.15% impact. With a general understanding of the 5 steps, we can now assess the social impact based on participants' weight. So the darker the color, the more impactful. The 4th quarter of 2022 actually was particularly impactful, and we can see that in general, the last 2 quarters of the years are the one who bring the most impact for the DWF. I also wanted to analyze how participants' weight change over the year since 2021. So again, we can see an increase since until 2022 and then started to decrease. But the following and the leading steps, they both didn't change much since 2021. In addition, the general newsletter stands out the most as the source with the most significant impact, and it is present in only the following and the endorsing steps. It was a pleasure to learn more about the DWF, and thank you for selecting my dashboard.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Just awesome work. I'll turn it over to the DWF team for questions.
Hi, Valerie. That was a really great visualization. Our team really enjoyed digging into it. We really appreciated how you understood the theory behind our work and to be able to demonstrate into data. It's our first time being able to visualize it like this. So it's really interesting for us. And we like how it's in both English and French as a Canadian charity, not forgetting our Quebec counterparts. And it's cool that it's interactive and being able to drill down into the steps.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to say from the DWF team?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think what we really liked about it was being able to see it each by stage, and just, you know, being able to visually see what that impact is from each of the stages here. So I think that that was what was most impactful for me looking at this. And then just visualizing the weight at the bottom here. So the total participants by weight across the years. So just so we can see what the iterative steps look like and how those have been, how people have participated in each of those.
Thank you for the feedback.
And definitely really liked the French. So thank you.
That was a hit,
Valerie.
seemed like. Awesome. Okay, let's move to our next presenter, Jill.
Hello, happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Jill Brown, and I am not the person who created this biz. I am actually a mentor in the Data Visualization Society mentorship program, and my mentee, Ammu, created this dashboard as part of her mentorship. So we found this opportunity to have her develop some of her skills. She's very adept at dashboard design and wanted to work on data storytelling. So we thought this would be a good project and opportunity for her to get that experience. So she was very excited that her biz was accepted for this, at least to present it, and really bummed that she couldn't be here. She is starting a new job this morning, so couldn't take time off of work, but I will pass along any feedback to her directly. So the dashboard that she has is in kind of three sort of panels. This first panel has information kind of about the background and the story that she used from the website, and also the materials that were provided for this project. And so there are some features on here that I just wanted to highlight a little bit in case you didn't get a chance to find all of them. But in each of these little flags, there's kind of hover information about the background, life, and journey. And so if you hover, you can see that as well, making it a little bit interactive. And then on the right-hand side are some of those similar KPIs that Valerie showed in her biz, those kind of big metrics that we just wanted to highlight on this front page. So the navigation to the other pages is either through this bottom button on the bottom, so you can see there's 3 pages, or this button here that says Our Work. And so when you click on the Our Work tab, it takes you to the second page of the dashboard. And this is sort of divided up into 3 different panels, and I'll walk through each of them. So this panel in the upper left is looking at that impact metric, so that future state times steps weight, and looking at it both by department and by the type of participation or action. So you can see on the left, there's the 3 departments: the marketing, communication, the education, and development. And then on the right are the kind of different categories of the different actions. So there's the volunteers, there's engagement via newsletters, there's those submissions. And so what this is showing you when you highlight it shows you kind of the flow of that impact. So the education department has a lot of impact through their volunteers, for example. The development department has a lot of impact through the reconciliation submissions. And so it kind of shows how those things connect, and how each of the departments are contributing in their own ways. For some of these that are really small on the right, if you hover over, it'll show you the name. It just doesn't show the name of all of the kind of smaller groups. So And then on the left, we have a graph that shows the number of participants by quarter and year, also divided into those steps. So we focused on the steps rather than the stages, but it does show the kind of blue on the bottom is the following. So this one is as the stacks of the area chart go higher, those are the later steps, so steps 1 through 5. And it just shows where that peak is of the participation. So you can hover and it shows you more specifically the counts in each of those for each quarter. We also did a similar sort of funnel chart in the participants by steps. So I am enjoying the kind of symmetry between some of these, and wanted to also show a little bit more detail about what is happening within each of these steps. So you can see that there are more people, the most amount of people in this contributing step, but if you hover, it actually shows you a little bit more of that detail about where the next steps are. So in the data, there was the information about whether after the step they're moving forward or backward. So that's what this is representing, where we have a group that, sorry, I have my Zoom window over the top of everything. So you have where from this step, there's that group that's moving forward to step 4 or to that owning step. You have the group that's moving backward back to step 1 and step 2. So we just wanted to show a little bit more detail for each of these to kind of get some insights about, you know, what folks are doing in each of these steps. So from here, we can go to the third page, which you can do to click on this button or the button down at the bottom. And this is a really nice way to kind of dive into all of the nitty-gritty pieces of the data. So there's a lot to see here, and I won't go through everything because it would take a lot of time, but I do want to just highlight there are some buttons at the top that help you decide what metric you want to look at. I'm just going to click on the average participants per quarter because it's has the most robust data. And then you can actually do some drilling down into those metrics, which show up by department. And so, for example, in the volunteers, we can look at different types of volunteers. And what the panel on the top right shows is the line graph of the data that are that exists so far, with also some built-in projections that Power BI use to kind of use the data that already exists to potentially project where the folks might be in the next 12 months. And this can be seen for each of the different types of metrics here at the top. One nice feature of the metrics at the left is that you can click on them and it actually adjusts what your graph looks like. So it filters the data a little bit so you can drill down in different ways. It also highlights this total participants by weight by segment when you click on the different metrics, so you can see different pieces being highlighted here as well. So these are all of the different contributions that we had in the data, and it shows the relative weight of them. So I think those were the main things that I wanted to highlight from Ammu's viz, and I'm happy to take down any feedback or attempt to answer any questions that you have, but really excited to be able to share that with everyone today.
Thanks so much, Jill, and please, thank Ammu. This is awesome. Probably one of the best Power BI dashboards I've seen. We don't see too many submissions from Power BI, but very nice. Kevin's point, nice and clean. Kamal, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Vanita. Jill, thanks for presenting and congrats on the new job your mentee has today. That's great news. Yeah, I think this dashboard was really interesting to play with. It was very interactive, and I think the team really appreciated that, especially the second page with those graphs. We definitely have a lot of different ideas of how we could use those with our own ways to demonstrate social impact with our stakeholders. I just have a question about the second chart on the second page, the one to the right. So is it possible to see the total weight associated by the participants or just total participants?
I think the way that it's set up right now, it doesn't show the weight, but I am sure that's something that she can add in if that would be more beneficial to have than just the total participants.
Yeah, okay, thanks. That was my only question.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
go
I
ahead.
I didn't have any questions, but I just wanted to make a few comments. I really liked the insights that were provided on this one. So if, like on the second page, there's the little light bulb where you hover over and you can see the 6 different insights. I think that's really valuable information for our team. This one I feel like has so much use for us internally, so that it can help us guide and educate our team members who are not part of our data projects and our impact work, because it really helps illustrate like the department-wise effect. I thought that was really neat, and that wasn't really something that I had thought about when looking at all of this. So I thought that was a neat feature. What was the last thing? Oh, the forecast. So on the 3rd page there, there was the forecasted piece, which I mean, we don't have to get into the specifics, but I'm curious, you know, how that was, how that came to be, and how you guys, or how Ammu was able to figure that piece out. Yeah, those are my big 3 things that I thought of when looking through this one.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I did forget to show the insights on that hover piece on the 2nd page, but that was something that we were working on in the data storytelling aspect of this, is how to, you know, pull out information that might be useful to someone that, you know, maybe isn't readily apparent. So, and I can get her, I can get more information about that.
Jump on the 1025.
I know I missed this.
I can connect her with you about the projections, but that is a built-in feature of Power BI.
I think it's in my calendar wrong.
just
Like it's in my
pull from the
calendar. It's
data.
Eastern time, only it's.
Great, thank you.
Wendy, can you go on mute, please? Okay, thank you, Jill. Let's move on to our next presenter. Satoshi, over to you. And it's pretty late for you out in Japan, so thank you for joining us at past 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, welcome. So let me start. I will share my screen. It is working? I hope.
Yep.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Satoshi from Tokyo. I joined Biz for Social Good in 2018 and now participating in projects. And I'm working as a data analyst at an airline company in Japan. At first, thank you for this great opportunity to talk about my visualization. Actually, I'm not good at English, but I will try my best. When I first read this project page, it took a while to understand the story of Gord, Downie, and Chanie Wenjack, because it was the first time for me to know about the issue between indigenous people and non-indigenous people in Canada. But after learning about this boy's sad story and God's action and passion, I thought I have to convey the story and background of DWF to the people who watch my visualization. So I put photos of them besides my title. And also I put the description about the story of them here. The information of my visualization is quite simple with 3 main parts. The first is the bar chart on right side top. This shows what kind of reconcile actions have been taken so far. The second is this tree map. It shows the number of reconciled actions, but it was drilled in by steps and stages and quarters. And the third one is the number of participants, but this number is multiplied with weight of steps and stages. And this line chart is running sum from the first point to Q2 of 2023. It's almost approaching 4 million, I think, and I'm sure that will increase more and more. The concept of multiplication of participants with steps and stages weight is a little bit difficult, I thought. So I focused on explaining the concept of multiple calculation with steps and stages. So right side of tree map and below of tree map, I put the explanation about steps and stages. And this concept will connect to the last part, impact of reconciled actions are growing, the number of participants. That is all for my visualization, but at last, let me talk about this background images. This is the shape of Canada. Actually, this image is drawn with overlapping circles, like this. And this image is overlaid with Canadian shape as mask. I want to express the reconciliation of indigenous people and non-indigenous people with these overlapping circles. So I put this image as background of my visualization. That is all for about my visualization. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Satoshi. Just wonderful work. And your English is great. So don't even
Thanks so much.
worry about that.
Thanks so much.
Samal, I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, Satoshi, thanks for staying up late to present this beautiful visualization. I think that was the first thing the team and I thought when we saw this. We're like, wow, this is a really great way of explaining our work, which as a Canadian organization, we haven't had much international interaction. So this is a great way to kind of explain it and visualize our theory as well as the data. I think the chart over here with the impacts of reconciliation actions are growing. That is one of the most impactful graphs I've seen. Other than it being beautiful, it's really interesting to see our growth as an organization from, we've only been around for a few years. So seeing the number of reconciliation actions in Canada grow has been pretty cool to see. So thank you for all of this. I'll pass it on to you, Riley, if you have anything else.
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's beautiful, it's clean. I love the what did you call it? The overlay of the mask at the back. I had noticed it after going through it, and I was curious about it, and it was like, I'm sure the circles relate to something. So I was really happy to learn that was also kind of a little like hidden feature in here. I thought that was really clever. Yeah, overall, I think, like Sibel said, the impacts of reconciliations, that graph was really interesting. I think what this does is really helps introduce a lot of this work. A lot of this is new for us as well as a team. So it's helpful for us to be able to take that and educate our most immediate stakeholders in this type of way, so that they can see what all those steps are in one really concise and clean way. So thank you for this. It's great.
Thank you so much.
There's anything else? Thank you, Satoshi, again. Over to you, Dennis, Canada.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, and thank you to the DWF team. It was a pleasure and honor to be able to delve into your work and learn a little bit more about what you're doing. Let me share my screen really quick. Let me remove the apologies. Let's see. There we go. So just a couple of kind of caveats. So my name is Dennis Cao. I'm a social work professor at Carleton University, which is situated in Ottawa, which is located on the traditional and ceded territories of the Algonquin people. I use data visualization and mapping in some of my research, and in this space, like kind of my volunteer on the side, I try to use data visualization, trying to explore the data art side of things, the artistic and aesthetic side. And so less analytical, which I do in my work, but more trying to explore the artistic side of it. So a lot of my data visualization, I'm just trying to explore and try new data chart types and things like that, and colors and things. I think the intent of this visualization was to try to draw people in and really, maybe highlight the impact, give them a little bit of information, but really steer them more towards your website to learn more about it. So I was kind of going back and forth between what trying to create one that's can function as a static infographic or maybe a handout, to just giving a little bit more interactivity if somebody happened to see this online, and allow them to hover over things and filter a little bit here and there. So, but that was less, it was more trying to create something that's a little more static, that really highlights the impact and just really quickly steers them to the website. I think, so the way I operate usually is I look at the data, see what's going on in there, just kind of go off and just think about it. And this was kind of a little bit more, this project was a little more challenging for me. And it wasn't until maybe 2 days before the deadline where I like, oh, maybe I'll do something like this. And so I started kind of playing with the data more. So some of the ideas that I was kind of thinking about kind of swimming in my mind were the whole notion of reconciliation being a process, being a journey, not easily defined, not linear, no clear endpoint, maybe cumulative of impact. And so like the overlapping circles, I was trying to kind of really highlight the overlapping impact of all these actions, right? So all these actions are, they're not in silos. They're part of a broader journey that the organization is trying to take people through. And so that was kind of the underlying theme I was trying to get at with the visualization. I initially thought of maybe doing some sort of tapestry, like kind of going up and down, but then I got then at some point I decided maybe to go left to right. I also, the whole notion of time was kind of interesting. Like, so I eliminated the months or the quarters and really kind of just chronologically created an ID that just went consecutive one to whatever 200 or so for each of the events. And so there's an element of time, but it's just like, increments of one across the board, right? So I wanted to kind of create that effect where time is, it's part of this, but it's really the journey that's more important. And so kind of the accumulation of the impact over the couple of years. So this is basically I'm not even sure what to call this, like a dot matrix or dot chart plot, where the size of the circles are the number of participants that were participated in each of the actions. I created some big numbers here KPIs, just to highlight, kind of some of the benchmarks. Some of the audiences I kept in mind were just like broader audience, policymakers who maybe don't have a lot of time to delve into a data visualization, but want to quickly see the impact. So that's what, this is where the KPIs kind of came into play. And then for those who are more interested in delving into, there's some tool tips that they could look at the specific actions. They could filter here. I created some simple filters that allow them to hover, and they can hover, and then they can select kind of the types of metrics. It's actually not working right now. Let me reconnect. Of course, during the presentation, it never works, right? That allows you to kind of select the specific. So just highlight the kind of some of the types of activities, some of the metrics, and then the departments, just to kind of give readers a kind of some way to kind of interact with it if they were interested, but really more so, this is really just kind of hopefully kind of a more functions as kind of data art that draws the person in and then leads them to the website to learn more and gets them interested. And thank you again for the opportunity.
Fantastic, Dennis. Thank you so much. I just love the concept of data art. I know we focus so much on storytelling and getting to the insights, but there is beauty in how data is presented in such a visual way and just very artistically. So thank you so much. This is fantastic. Sabal, over to you.
Thank you, Vanita. Hi, Dennis. It's great to meet you. It's always nice to see other data nerds in the social space sector. There's not many of us around, so it's always nice. Yeah, this visualization, we thought, first of all, with the data art perspective, it is beautiful and it tells our story, I think, in a really clear way. We actually started to use some of the tooltips to get better insights into our programming. So I know this would be used for internal purposes for sure, to see, what input had the most participants this year, so we can see what's been effective and what has been a little bit less so. The one question I had is that, did you have an opportunity to do this with our column participants by weight, or is it just with the total number of participants?
I haven't done it by weight. I can try it and see. I think it would probably, I think the circles on the bottom, under leading, would probably get bigger, and then the circle, and relatively the ones that step 1 or 2 would get smaller. I can try it and kind of show it to, I can try it and send you the link too, and see how it plays out. I was having trouble understanding the weights, or being able to explain it, and so I thought I wanted to try to keep it simple for this, but I can definitely try to visualize it and see, and maybe it creates a very different picture of what's kind of going on.
Yeah, that comparison would, from our perspective, would be very interesting to see if the theory perspective with the reconciliations.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to do that.
Thanks, Dennis. Pass it over to you.
I've never heard the term data art before. So I'm very intrigued by that. And I think this, the way this is illustrated, I think is really telling and very, I think it helps explain the story in a very visually beautiful way. And I think it's helpful for the layperson to be able to take a look at this and kind of, understand where the value is and where they may sit in this path as well. One of the comments in the chat here too is about, how this really helps illustrate the path. And that's usually always where my mind goes, is how do I visualize this as I'm walking on the path, right? And you might take a few steps back, you might take a few steps forward, but ultimately, it's your impact is getting greater and greater the closer you get towards your goal. So I like that piece. And circles are just such an important part of Indigenous culture. I mean, it's an important part of a lot of cultures, but we talk about the circles a lot in our work, especially internally. So I like how that just kind of relates to that piece as well.
Thank you so much for the feedback.
I also wanted to mention too, and I guess this also goes for anybody who's participating in the presentations as well today, that if there are other challenges and feedback that you have for us about your data as well, we would love to hear that, and maybe we can circle back to it at the end of the presentations here, because we are also still new to this as well. So that also helps us learn and helps us interpret and display our data in different ways. So if there's things within like the weights and stuff too, that would be helpful. Like we would love to hear about that too. So feel free to circle back to this at the end.
I think it was more so because I ran out of time and then have a chance to kind of really think about the weights this during my own process. But I'm happy to kind of take a look at them.
Yeah, no, totally fair.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Anne.
guys.
Thank you.
Let's Gabrielle, let's move on to you. And Gabrielle is joining us from the UK.
Yep. Hi, I'm Gabrielle. I'm a researcher at Newcastle University in Newcastle upon Tyne, UK. And yeah, I also want to thank Visitor Social Good and the DWF for this opportunity. I'm from the US originally, so I knew a bit about Native American history in the US, but nothing really about Indigenous peoples in Canada. So thanks for the opportunity to learn Chanie's story and more about reconciliation. So my technical background's a little bit different. I mostly work with static visualization, so I do want to get into interactive ones. And so I focused more on the idea of presenting this data in a way to communicate the DWF's impact to stakeholders. So I had a look on DWF's website and I found their inner reports and decided to copy that format and produce something similar that summarized reconciliation actions and their impact. And so I used the 2 complete years of data, 2021 to 2022 and 2022 to 2023. Since especially it seemed like some events were seasonal, I thought that was a fair comparison to just limit it to those 2 complete years. So I started off by, since it's for stakeholders, I wanted to provide definitions and just have a way to give an overview of the DWF's framework for understanding the impact of reconciliation actions. So this first page focuses on steps, the 5 different steps following endorsing, contributing, owning, and leading. And this it gives a foundation for understanding this framework, but also allowed me to drill down into each step, since I think, as most people probably noticed, there's quite a bit of different scales in terms of the number of participants in these different steps, since people are all different stages and there'll be more people at earlier steps especially. So this allowed me to show kind of the variability and the changes over time in how people are participating in these different steps. And I say number of reconciliation actions here, since I'm summing across different types of actions. And I remember the DWF said we don't know if there's duplicate participants, and there probably will be people who are participating in multiple events. So it's more number of times that someone has done an action in this representation. And another thing that I did was I wanted to focus a lot on design in this project too. So I've encoded the different steps by the lightness of color here, with the idea too that darker colors kind of have higher impact as you progress through the steps. And like Dennis, I focused on the number of participants count as opposed to weight, since I'm already dividing it by steps. I thought it'd be a fairer comparison across steps, as opposed to if I was looking at overall impact and something across different steps. I think that's when I would use weight. And then I did the same thing, but for the future states and stages. So I decided to, I saw most of the variability kind of in states was captured by the stage description, that there is some nuances that I'm missing. So I decided to use that simpler description. Also, my understanding was that the stages focused a bit more on how people progress through the different actions, which is why I'm focusing on in this report. And then I also expanded the color scheme a little bit here by pulling colors from the Secret Path film, which I felt was a really important part of the DWF's visual identity and imagery. So I noticed in the film that a lot of it has a very cool color palette, which is like this blue that you see here. But then when Chanie is thinking about his father, the color palette warms and becomes this more golden color. And I thought that was a good way to represent kind of the progression of reconciliation as well. So I used that to encode the different stages of reconciliations. And then I also got a little bit more into, I think, data art in this case, kind of similar. So this visualization, again, when I heard about the framework, I also started drawing out ways to represent this path. So I have a rail track here from one of the DDoS, again, one of their images that they use. And each rail here represents a different step in the reconciliation framework. So you have the 3 different stages, and then within each stage, the 5 different steps that you can move through. And I've put a circle for each quarter, and the size of the circle is the number of times someone has participated in that step, in that stage, in that quarter. So it's kind of a high-level overview of the different steps and stages that the DDBF is supporting over time. So you can see, stage 1 is mostly the first 3, stage 2 is most of the middle 3, and then there's some people that are all the way to stage 3 and leading others. And also point out, so one thing that's tricky about comparing these different steps and stages is that the scale of participation is so different. So this is scale based on the order of magnitude of number of participants or number of reconciliations. So it'll be a bigger jump from 10 to 100 versus 100 to 110. So it's more of a overall impression. So because it's kind of hard to see the finer distinction, especially with the larger numbers. And one other thing, I wanted to incorporate some of Gord Downie's lyrics too. So the railway is made from lyrics from Secret Path. And then the last visualization, I wanted to drill down a little bit, even though it's not a dashboard, a little bit more into some of the details and what are the main contributors, or the main actions that contribute to reconciliation. So I looked at the main categories of reconciliation, so things like newsletter opens or newsletter subscribers. And each of these circles is the number of times someone has participated in that type of reconciliation across the 2 years. And it's colored again by the steps and stages. So just to give an overall impression of the different actions and the number of times people are participating in them. And I've labeled the top 2 for each step. So for example, for endorsing, we have newsletter opens in stage 1, and then the Legacy School Digital Toolkit page visits in stage 2 for endorsing. And then now that I've introduced the idea of that there are many ways to do something, I wanted to end with a call to action of how will you do something? Because it stood out to me that people, the DWF might not be able to track individual people's reconciliations and their progression, but that doesn't mean that we can't invite people to do that for themselves. So I have spaces here for people to fill in different types of reconciliations, and I've suggested some too to help them kind of understand this idea and this framework. And I pulled those from both the data that the DWF provided as well as the Instagram accounts, which hopefully I categorized correctly, but I can also tweak that. And this is actually generated algorithmically to create a kind of watercolor effect. Again, like a callback to the Secret Path film. And then just end with some more information about the DWF and Viz for Social Good. so that people can find more information. And just a quick note about tools too. This is the figures were made with the R programming language, like the analysis and that as well. And then I edited those in Adobe Illustrator and put the reports together in Adobe InDesign. It's my first time using the latter too, so I learned a lot from that project.
Like, just wow. That's great. And you know, usage of tools and the visuals, just yeah, great, Gabrielle. All over to you.
Yeah, this was really well thought out. So thank you, Gabrielle. It looked like it probably took a lot of time to make. I actually also do appreciate the PDF format. I'm just thinking about different ways that we can use this. And I think it'd be great for our stakeholders or for people who are engaged with us and want to dig in deeper to our social impact work. It's a great way to visualize all the different things. And also with your feedback on maybe looking at reconciliate actions versus using participants in our terminology, because just with the data that we have, we'll never be able to account for duplicates. So that's something that I'm going to take back to the team, maybe try to get a little bit more insight from you, and maybe see how we can change our data collection or maybe just our terminology to better reflect that.
I know it's definitely tricky when, yeah, you have so many people and different actions.
Yeah, it's almost gone to the point where it's like, well, we can't really say, for instance, like 6 million participants because there's only 38 million people in Canada. So dealing with those duplicates, I think, are always going to be a challenge for us, but this is a really good way to think about it. And yeah, it also kind of helps informs our theory by putting data with all the steps, because we've always theorized that, you know, steps 1, 2, 3 will probably have a lot more than the later steps. So it's good to be able to finally put a number to that. So thanks for all your work. I'll pass it over to Riley.
Thanks, Gabrielle. I think this one was really, like, this one really mirrored so much of our work. Like, this is something we can turn around and use tomorrow if we wanted to. And I think it really helps invite the user into our work. And that was my biggest takeaway here, is that, you know, a student who's doing this work in rural Ontario can see themselves and see how what they're doing is making an impact and making a change. And I really liked the call to action at the end. And that's the biggest question we always get is, you know, how can I do something? How can I do more? That's our tagline, do something. And it's always helpful to be able to bring that back and to show, you know, we have 50 different ways that you can participate, and you know, you can see where your impact is, you can see where where you sit on this whole path really, really easily and really cleanly. So I think those were my biggest takeaways from this viz. So thank you for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, that was my goal.
Excellent. Okay, and to our final presenter, Kate, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Sorry, I have issue with my camera. So am I sharing, right?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Actually, it was my first time when I participated in this community project with For Social Good. And I live in Canada and decided to do my input into reconciliation by creating this visualization. Actually, it was a bit challenging project for me because of the data complexity and multiple terms which were used in the data set. For example, steps, metrics, and segments, and so on. And the main tool which I used for this visualization were Tableau for dynamic charts and final report, as well as I used Inkscape for graphic design, background layout, and text. And this is my visualization. So I wanted it to be used as a dynamic report, which can be accessed through Tableau Public, but also it can be printed as a paper poster and distributed in schools for teachers, students, and parents, and also in various organizations and conferences. Okay, so here I provided a brief overview about the fund and its main goal. So this information was provided on the Vis for Social Good website. I summarized a number of summarized progress since 2021 when the data became available, and counted overall number of steps, number of unique projects, which is based on number of unique IDs, and also number of segments. And I decided to call it initiatives so uninformed viewers can better understand it. So next part shows the steps which were done for reconciliation, like following, endorsing, contributing, owning, and leading. And here, actually, circle size is based on number of projects within each step. So bigger the circle, greater the number of projects. And next part of the visualization highlights initiatives or segments and number of participants within each. And as the main purpose was call for action, so I decided to place the hashtag do something into the middle of this report so viewers can see it and get understanding how they can participate and how they can contribute into the reconciliation and reconciliations. And here, because again, as a Dennis, I used just the count of participants. I didn't use weight, and because number of participants in various segments varied from 2 to more than 100,000, I transformed the data for rescaling, but both actual and transformed data are available by using this parameter. And it can be, this report can be printed in both ways, with log transform values as well as with actual values by using this button, but I'm not going to do this now. Yeah. And also I used only maximum values for participants count for each segment among all quarters, because it might be the same people who participated in the initiatives each quarter, so to prevent overcounting. And at the bottom, there are two logos, one from the fund and another one from the community project, and again, call for action and link to the fund website. And thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a great experience for me, and I hope that this visualization will help. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Kate, and welcome to Vis for Social Good. Very impressive that this is your first project with us. So hope to see you joining us on more projects. Great work. Jamal, over to you.
So much.
Hi, Kate. Yeah, I really like the circle umbrella visualization. I thought that was really impactful. It's, I think, a really good way to show our impact with someone just looking at it for the first time, just a simple glance.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. I did have a question. So again, this is our first time compiling all of this data was actually for this project. And you mentioned that there was some complexity in the data. So do you have any recommendations right now, or we can take this offline, but do you have any recommendations on how to simplify it to maybe make it a little bit less complex and more easy to do the visualizations and do the data stuff with?
Yeah, for sure. I can actually provide some recommendations for this. Yeah, I will do this offline. If you will provide your email, I can share.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Kate. Pass it over to you, Riley.
Wonderful. Thank you for this. This is beautiful, and I think it's really easy to read. I like that you had thought out the students in the classrooms and how we can just print this out and people can see themselves reflected in us and give them ideas of how they can participate and you know, think outside of what they might already be doing and you know, continue on their journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is really, really well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, well, that concludes all the volunteer presentations. I'm going to do the photo now, just in case people are dropping off. So whoever wants to turn your camera back on, let's, okay. Actually, and if someone else wouldn't mind doing a photo as well, just the backup. All right, you have to do a screenshot, right? Okay, let me try another one just to make sure. I don't think I've ever used my laptop camera. Okay, ready, smile everyone. Oh no, hold on. Okay. All right, do it again, smile please. Okay, I think that's good. Frederick's gonna kill me if this doesn't work out. All right. Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna just paste that. And just, I will share my screen. And just last part before we wrap. Just so as you know, we have our champions, so you're always welcome to go in and check out the points, and that'll be uploaded, I think, when Frederick gets back in a few weeks. And also, I want to turn it over back to the DWF team for any closing comments that they have.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in here. So we just first of all wanted to say thank you to everyone for participating. We were blown away by all the submissions, and we really took our time to go through and make sure that we were, you know, reading through and taking a look at all of the hard work. There's so much complexity that goes into this, and I mean, I'm not a data specialist, so I don't know how you do it, but it's amazing to see our work displayed in all of the different creative ways that everyone had thought out. We're really looking forward to taking these submissions back to our team, and we've invited some of our team members here as well to participate and to just see all the great work that was done. So we're excited to see how we can continue to use these in our work. And like I said, because we are still so early on in our work here, and you know, what we're really trying to unpack here is a big nuanced concept of reconciliation. So if there is any feedback in how you've interpreted the data or any challenges that you may have faced, I mean, we're really eager to continue to learn ourselves and improve a lot of this work. So we're really open to that. We will provide our emails at the end of this as well. And you can always reach out to Vinitha, who can provide that. But I just wanted to take this opportunity again to say thank you for everyone's hard work and your creativity and your submissions. These were really wonderful, and this was a really great experience for us. And Sabal, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I just wanted to throw it over to you in case you wanted to say anything.
Thanks, Riley. Yeah, the one thing I would add is that we're hoping to use a lot of these visualizations in our work and to demonstrate our social impact. So we'll probably be in touch with a few of you. So thank you for your submissions. And yeah.
Excellent. That's great. Well, thank you all for joining. Stay tuned. Our next project does kick off in August. It's with an organization in Colombia. What's exciting is they are looking to present some of the visuals at the United Nations Sustainable Development Summit sometime in September. So you can actually just check them out on our website. They're called CEPE. Obviously, the data is not available, but August 1st is the kickoff. So feel free to block your calendars for that time for the next project. Again, thank you. Thank you to Sabal, Riley. You've been great partners all throughout And, you know, it was wonderful to meet you as well, Sabal. I feel like, you know, we have some connections now in the data space. And I know you said you're always lonely out in social sector, but there's enough data geeks for you to talk to now, right? And look forward to partnering with you and also, you know, seeing how all of your data journey progresses. And thank you for sharing your compassion, your data, and all of your insights with this global team of volunteers. It was really a great collaboration. All right, then.
Thank you.
I think we will wrap up the meeting. Take care. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.